a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
All right, welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. So, to break up a discussion for the chat here and the pre-chat. So we have all kinds of things we can talk about. We don't have anything on the schedule today. It's Tuesday, so we usually talk about Second Amendment stuff. But let's introduce everybody. We've got a panel here tonight from all over the country. Got Angelina jumping in from California. Thanks for joining.
Hello, everyone.
Posh just jumped in, also from California. Thanks for jumping in. And he's muted. Does not work the internet. Nope, now he is. He's old. Anyway, so then we got Dead Horse jumping in from Utah.
Howdy.
Thanks for joining. Let me see. I'm trying to go west to east. So then we got Gary from Kansas. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite.
Then comes Ghost in Arkansas.
It's kind of crazy if Arkansas is the farthest east we've got.
So far.
It's like Cycle Camp's in there. That's right.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're going to keep going. We got Midnight jumping in from Pennsylvania.
Hello from Pennsylvania.
And then we get to Cycle out there in Connecticut.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're living in a gun-free state.
I'm down here
in a free gun state.
So that gets us pretty close to the whole east to west, and well, by default, Connecticut's pretty far north, but we go pretty good north to south coverage as well. So we're covering the whole country tonight. We've got 8 people in here, so hopefully no dead air, and we'll dig in. So it's Second Amendment Day. Any topics that come to mind on Second Amendment issues?
The sanctuary city of Republic, Washington, for 2A rights. That's been in the news recently.
Dig into that. I think I know. I've heard something, but it's not ringing a bell.
So the police chief of Republic, Washington, I guess that's the name of the town or the city, is Republic City in Washington, I guess. He declared that that the new ban there is unconstitutional, and they're trying to pass a thing that says that it's a sanctuary city for Second Amendment rights, and that he's not going to enforce any of the new laws there that were passed in Washington. So I thought that was kind of a two-way win.
That's pretty cool.
That we have a police chief standing up for that and a city council.
Yes. So where is that county? Do we know?
I think it's Eastern Washington. So I'm not sure exactly where, but it made the Spokane news and stuff like that, and it made my news here. So it's definitely being national news.
I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Yankee say that the majority of the state is probably very much pro-gun? It's just the populous areas that aren't, and they're the ones that carry the state, I guess. I might be wrong about that.
Well, I think it's I was gonna say, I think it's just a good place to start, because maybe other police chiefs in other, states might look at that and say, hey, we may have these anti-gun laws or whatever, but doesn't mean I have to enforce them. Or, maybe one of them will step up. Maybe it'll bring more to the arena to step forward and say this is unconstitutional.
Is there any kind of fallout from it so far?
I haven't heard of any fallout, but I've only read a couple articles and saw one news thing on it. So
it's an interesting concept. I hope it plays out positively.
I think they're suing them or something because there's no way to pay for it, right? And it requires basically anybody who owns a 1022 to undergo psychiatric evaluation or something.
You mean the whole bill, or what? They're suing the constitutionality of the bill. Is that what they're saying?
I had the wrong mic in. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
So I was gonna say, don't you have to be like a sheriff? Well, a sheriff one, but usually like a mayor or something, or a governor is the one that makes a sanctuary city claim. Is this what is his position
Well,
against?
he's making a sanctuary city claim as him and his officers won't enforce that law.
And has the support of the city council as well, I think. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, understood.
And if I remember, I think it goes to vote. Was it today or tomorrow? But I think the city council was. I think that city council was supposed to confirm it or whatever and pass an ordinance about it. It was either today or tomorrow.
Fantastic. I'll be watching that over the weekend.
All right. Do we have any other two-way news, two-way topics?
Kind of. I've been talking with Michael Sadini with Walk the Talk America, and he is trying to get 100 gun ranges across America to be what they called sanctuary ranges. And it's kind of going down the line of the red flag laws to kind of preemptive attack the red flag laws. He's saying if we can get a bunch of ranges, try to get one or two per state to come in and be part of these sanctuary ranges, where if people think that someone is unsafe, instead of going the legal way of the red flag laws, maybe they can bring those guns to the local range. They will put them in their safes until this person is deemed okay, and they can come pick them up, or the person that brought them can come pick them up. But it's a way to protect the gun rights of these people and still have due process and not have to go through the legalities of red flag laws. And I'm talking to him about my range here being one of them in Arkansas. And so it hasn't rolled out yet, but the discussions are happening. So I think it's an interesting concept that if we can kind of police our own and not let the bureaucrats take care of it, I think that'd be an interesting thing.
What's the deal?
He's trying to get some gun ranges, 100 of them. He's trying to get 100 across America to where the gun ranges would agree to have safes at the gun range. And let's say that I feel like this person is going through some mental health issues and may be unsafe with their guns. Instead of going through the police or the government to take them away through red flag laws, maybe if we felt like we could take them to this range, lock them up until this person has gotten help, and then give them back, we're not taking his rights away. We're just taking his guns until he has gotten some help mentally and not have to go through these red flag laws. It's an interesting concept.
I just gotta jump in and say, you're not protecting his rights. All you're protecting is his property.
Well, what I'm saying is he doesn't have to worry about his rights being stripped from the government. You're not having to worry about his rights.
The point is he still can't have his firearms. He can no longer possess firearms. He can no longer defend himself. You have stripped him of his Second Amendment rights. What they're trying to do is say, we don't want the government to get their hands on a property because they might destroy it or something before he gets it back. And that's a Fourth Amendment issue. Right.
He may never get them back. And I think what it's saying is, and I think if we all think about it and we all be honest about it, there are times where we know people that are not mentally stable for whatever reason. And would you rather, as a friend, go and talk with them, get them some help, and help them out that way, and instead of the police coming to confiscate them? If they're going to be taken, I'd rather be taken by a friend that's going to hold them in a safe place than by the government, which means you may never get those back.
I mean, on paper, if you just go with the grand, big bird's eye view, that's debatable. But like, I never thought of it what Cycle was saying there, but I can't help but think of the, the technicalities, the specifics of it all. And I've dealt with people who have put their collections or their pile of guns into a gun shop during deployments, right? So people that are totally rational and for just a necessity need to keep their guns safely secured for an amount of time, right?
Right.
And, no issues, no emotion, was completely willing, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And that was a pain in the butt. And then, I mean, if somebody has a gun, I guess, and you're putting it in a drawer, it gets to be less hassle. But I don't know anybody that has a gun, really.
Right.
And then, so that's a bunch. And then possession, like, what are you going to put all them on a books? Like, that's asking a lot. Like, can a shop even take, I guess an FFL can take possession, but unwillingly. And then, how does they get them back? Who makes that determination? Is there like a person in charge of it at the store? A scope gets messed up, or a trigger job, or I don't know. I mean,
It sounds like it's going to be on a volunteer basis almost to me. Like,
it is. It's going to be one of those things where
I'm not trying to shit on it. Let me finish with that. You can just take guns to a gun shop and have them safely secured for an amount of time. Not every gun shop has to provide that service, but some shops can. So just like not every car lot is going to take your RV and put it in their back lot for you, but some of them will be more than happy to, and it'd be fine. So it's a service that's already there for probably a lot of the shops, and it's not like they need to have extra safes for this. They'll usually, like when somebody's going on deployment or something, they'll just put it into their own, pile of guns in their own safes. It's just, marked with that person's name, just like in a safety deposit box. Well, maybe not like a safety deposit box, but if you put money in the bank, you're not getting the same dollar bills out. If you put it in your safety deposit box, I guess you are. But anyway, you don't have to make it a big effort for the shop. The shops can do that, but it's when you get into like, I want this other person's guns to go away, and then I want you to hold them. That just seems like a massive amount of complication there.
Yeah, and let's kind of walk down the rabbit hole a little bit. Let's assume the person maybe had a restraining order put out against them, or was going to maybe go into some kind of observation for mental health or whatever. I can't imagine the powers that be at the government not wanting to know the guns that a gun store or FFL is keeping on behalf of someone who may be in a place like that, or maybe going through a thing like that. And again, this isn't to shit on the point. It's just to state government be doing government things, and they're going to want to know who that FFL is a custodian of, who potentially may be having a mental problem, right? I can't see them not wanting to know that and just being like, oh no, you FFL, you're equipped to handle this potential mental issue. I just don't see.
Well, I would think that the FFL, I mean, the government gave them a license, so obviously they feel comfortable for this person to have an FFL and to be able to store and sell guns.
But not necessarily to store a gun for somebody who was in a mental clinic.
Well, and I think the idea behind the premise of this is let's say I'm talking with you, Hosh, and you're going through some crazy shit in your life, and you and I are friends, and we're like, hey, I said, bro, you don't seem like you're very good right now. He goes, no, I'm not. And you've acknowledged the fact that you've got something going on.
Mm-hmm.
I say, dude, you know what? Until you get cleaned up and you get whatever, if you're not feeling safe with your guns right now, and I don't want you to hurt yourself or anyone in your family, there is a way to do this that guarantees you're going to get them back. You're not going to have to go through the red tape of government. It's a friend helping you out. FFL is going to hold them. And when you get all straightened out and you're ready to come back, we just go down the FFL and they're back to you, where you don't have to worry about elimination of due process.
There's a lot of steps that you just kind of jumped over.
Oh yeah. It's just stories, man. I didn't come up with it. I'm just
I understand.
Interested in it.
Let's keep the dialogue going. So you're my friend. You say you seem like you're going through a lot of problems. I say yes, I'm going through some problems, and I say I don't trust an FFL with my guns. Why don't you just take them?
I would personally do that. I wouldn't have a problem with that
right.
whatsoever.
So what is the benefit that the FFL is providing that you
I
wouldn't
think storage space, probably storage space and security, maybe. I don't know. I mean, just it's an option that it's maybe looking to be more official than just buddies holding on each other's
right.
guns.
So perfect. So then there's my two jumping off points: storage space and security. So those things both cost money, right? So an FFL is like, well, yeah, but we need this square footage. Square footage not being used to sell a product is money lost, right, to an FFL or to any retailer. So then they're like, okay, well, what am I getting out of this? And then how why am I taking out the added security of potentially this person's guns getting
Oh,
stolen?
well, they're doing it for the community. That's not.
Yeah,
No, no,
I
no,
mean
no,
that's
no, no,
that's
I
they're
get
gonna
that.
they're gonna do it on a volunteer basis.
I get that. I get, and this isn't, again, this is not shitting on the point. And I think all things eventually like, if you're holding a gun for like a week, that's probably not a big deal. But days turn into weeks turn into months, and all of a sudden they're like, what are we even doing here, guys? And then all of a sudden that turns into its own problem. Because then you got insurance to worry about too.
There's an implied promissory note when you say the word guarantee. You do not have either as an organization or as an individual the power to guarantee anything to anyone when it comes to that. I mean, you can make a promise, but you cannot make a guarantee. Yet you just said that.
Yeah, it seems like it's fraught for potential legal problems on the FFL on a civil side, not the criminal side.
I mean, it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it would never work in Connecticut because it's illegal to do that.
Well, okay, so let's say we're you and me, we're friends again. I'm all screwed up, and we take the guns to the FFL, and 2 weeks go by, and I'm like, hey, I want to get those guns back, and you're like, yeah, you seem well enough to get those guns back. We go down to the FFL and go like, okay, it's time to get the guns back, and the FFL goes, you don't look okay to me. In fact, your buddy looks more screwed up than you are. I don't want to give any of the guns back to either one of you. You look like a problem.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a situation that could occur. You know, I don't have an answer for that.
No,
that's a very, very valid point. Too,
again,
so.
We're not shit.
Oh, I know that. I know that. No, that's why I
I'm
brought
going
this
full
up. I wanted to
devil's
kind of get
advocate.
everybody's
I'm
thought
going
of this because
full-
it's interesting to me. The concept is interesting to me.
Oh, I
Obviously,
think
there's a
so,
lot
too.
to be worked out.
I think
And
so too.
I think
And
that
this
the idea of trying to preempt red flag laws
yeah, and
to
this
kind
is
of take
perfect.
into our own hands, I think it needs to be at least explored, and that's all I was trying to do is explore it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this is perfect, like libertarian volunteerism government.
Absolutely.
I love this. So, but
Absolutely.
we got to solve these. We got to have answers for these questions, right? Because these are
Exactly.
real logistics questions. It's not a matter of like hold it for a day and I'll stop drinking, then I'll come get my gun. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about more substantial problems.
Oh, I say you can get rid of it by getting rid of, well, universal background checks for sure, and then you get rid of cross state line garbage. So now, let's say you're literally having that conversation. I'm not feeling good. Somebody can say, I'm going to come by and get your shit from out of state. So you're not dependent on somebody who's a friend or somebody you worked with, somebody from church or civic organization who's not the direct blood relative who could technically take your guns from you. Not take them, but take them for you. But instead, just somebody who's trusted can come across state lines, take possession for however long, take them to their hotel room. Because if we're talking about people that are mental for like suicide, which is the great majority, right, of them, then that's like overnight. Like, okay, I'm not feeling good. I saw something, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know what happens, but I guess, that's immediate shit, right? So if you are able to just come in and get that person, but you can do just as effective as taking that person out for dinner, right?
Sure.
Every circumstance is different, but that's my solution: is get rid of universal background checks, the legal hurdles that are preventing just anybody from being a friend to anybody. Right now, what we're dealing with is this set of parameters that is the 4473s and the stupid 68 Gun Control Act, which says we have to use those 4473s for our FFLs and 4473s to go across state lines. So they wouldn't have to go to gun shops. They could just go, put out an awareness campaign and say, hey, if your friend needs it, take his guns from him, so that the government doesn't have to.
No, I mean, I think that's a dream situation. I mean, that's something we should always be pushing for, is eliminating the 4473 for sure. So, I mean, that would obviously be the best case scenario. I think what people are out there trying to do is trying to think of realistic scenarios also that might help. And I don't know if this is a good one or not. I really don't. I was intrigued by it when we were talking about it, and the idea of trying to eliminate potential due process issues, because I think that's the biggest issue with red flag laws, besides the confiscation part of it. I mean, that's always a big one, but the due process is, how do you get them back? Will you ever get those back? No matter how many doctors and lawyers say that you're good, I think that they're trying to figure out a way with the mental health issue is if there is a way to temporarily take the guns without the legal side of police and government and keep the due process intact and protect our own rights, then that's what they're looking for. And obviously they have a lot to think about and a lot of legal issues to get on board with. But I think the concept, whether this is the actual one or not, I think the concept of trying to help our own is intriguing.
When I think of the responsibility, whether it be an FFL or a gun club, that they would legally take on, and then, of course, at some point to release, just the financial liability, let alone the moral responsibility and liability that would go into that, different than any other person that you ever met, which does not have a known issue. Obviously, from that point forward, that person has a known issue. And once you have a known issue, you encompass a whole lot of liability upon yourself as well as upon your business. And I think that adds a whole lot of weight for very little payoff for at least the FFL.
You'd be better off, to be honest with you, you'd be better off doing this as like a nonprofit type of organization type thing where you're.
Well, that's what Walk the Talk America is doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
that's what they're the ones that are kind of behind this.
You're better off, like, not so much using an FFL unless you're renting space from that FFL and it's for this, not for profit thing where you take donations to fund it and you try and do right by the law. And that would require getting a lawyer and trying to understand what the legalities are of not so much turning the guns in to be held, but getting them back. That seems to be where the
that's the thing.
are.
Yeah.
That's really the problem.
And I think that's kind of where their whole mindset is not the confiscation of them. It's what happens when they are taken. How do we make sure that they retrieve their rights, they retrieve their property without the government saying so?
I mean, we have the same situation in Connecticut right now. If the Connecticut State Police come and take your guns and you have banned weapons, there is nothing in the statute that is a vehicle that allows they can't give you the banned weapons back because there's nothing in the statute that provides for the return of banned weapons. They cannot be transferred.
Right.
And that's where this whole, I think part of this whole discussion revolves around, if I hand you my guns and you hold them for 6 months, do I still have constructive possession, which is the legal term, or have I transferred those firearms to your control? And if you transfer those firearms in a state like Connecticut, you can't transfer any firearms without state paperwork, and you cannot transfer banned firearms to anybody but an FFL. And the FFL cannot give it back to you once you've transferred it to them.
When you say banned, that's stuff you can own because you owned it from before. You just
grandfathered.
More.
Yeah.
But because even though it's grandfathered, they can never give it back to you. There's no mechanism for you to ever give it to someone and get it back again. So you're basically
like a new transfer.
Losing.
Right. My 3 ARs, if I was to give those ARs to someone else, that's illegal. If I make a transfer, it's illegal for them to possess them at all, right? If someone came into their house and said, "Show me your safe," and they were in there, they can't say, "Well, I'm just holding those for Bill." That's illegal. They can't do that.
Right.
And if you transfer it to an FFL, the FFL has no mechanism to transfer it back because it's a banned weapon.
So according to the state of Connecticut, you're the only person from now on that could ever possess and own those rifles.
Yeah,
right.
Same thing in California's got that problem too.
Yeah, I think you'll find there's a lot of states that have that problem.
Wow.
What's the definition of being in control of it? Like you said, is it that you have the ability to handle it whenever you want? Like if somebody else has it locked up and you can't get to it, does that mean you're not in control of it?
Yes.
Well, it's kind of weird because we actually had a really interesting legal thing that happened here. A guy was what do you call it? He had not a restraining order, but he had one of the weak ones, and he turned his firearms over to the police voluntarily because they made it sound like if he didn't, he was going to get in trouble. And after everything was all done, he went back to the police, said, "Give me my guns back," and they said, "No, we can't do it." And during the course of the conversation, the state attorney general in Connecticut said, "Well, even though the police have the guns physically, the person still has constructive possession. And as soon as he said that, his lawyer, she's a really smart gal, went down there and said, he's got constructive possession. You must return those weapons to him. And of course, when that happened, they changed the law.
But did he get them back before they changed the law?
He did get them back, yes.
That's good. That's good.
But again, it all comes down to constructive possession. And basically, you can be not in control of something, but still have constructive possession. And I don't understand, to be honest with you, I don't understand the legalese behind that, because because it obviously doesn't make sense. So a rational person could never understand it anyway, or your head would explode.
It's probably like titled ownership type of thing. If you're just a steward of the possession, you're not the owner unless they turned over the ownership to you through some exchange of money or whatever, or time. But if the original owner said, I need you to hold my guns because I'm going on a fishing trip, versus I need you to hold my guns because I'm going into a mental place for 2 weeks, you're still the owner of said firearm. The only difference is that in this case, this specific example, they were saying, well, we can't turn it back over to you because that would be an illegal transfer. I understand them making that argument, but I also understand what you're saying, because they never transferred ownership, right? He's still the legal owner.
Yeah, it's like if your car gets impounded, when your car is sitting in the impound lot, do you have constructive possession of the car? Well, I don't think you do, because you can't access it and you can't use it and you can't drive it.
But you're still
you don't have constructive possession.
But the title's still under your name.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was talking about, because I mean, you people that might have firearms at a second house or a hunting camp or something, you still own it and you could physically drive there and get it if you wanted to. But if somebody else has it locked up in their house or somebody else has it locked up in their safe, you can't physically get to it or get it out yourself. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's just an example, you know?
Yeah. In that scenario, if you had a second house or a deer camp or whatever, I think it would maybe come down to whose name is that house under. I mean, if it's under you or your family, then I would say that's still part of your property. If it's your buddy's lake house, that could be a whole different story. I don't know. I'm really up on those kind of laws. I'm not going to lie.
All right, we're going to take a break from this discussion and ask a left to right question here. If you're getting a lake house for some reason, all expenses paid, it can be fancy or it can be remote. What lake are you putting it on, Angelina?
Lake Michigan.
That's more like the freaking ocean.
It goes on the free house. Dead horse?
Yeah.
Lake Sherwood in Colorado.
Nobody knows what that is. Ghost?
I mean, I live on a lake right now, so I don't say Greer's Ferry Lake because I live here now. So,
fewer people know.
Yeah, that. I don't have to waste money on a second house.
Gizzard?
What's the question again? I'm sorry.
You're getting a free house. It's got to go on a lake. What lake do you put it on?
That's a good question. A house on a lake.
We can come back.
Okay, I think about that.
Josh?
I mean, yeah, that made me think a couple of times. So you want a big enough lake because you got your free property. You want like a bug out property on the other side of the lake. If you got to beat a hasty retreat, you hop into a boat, you can get away, but you need it big enough that they can't really follow you. I'd go with like Lake Mead or something like that.
Dano?
Lake Wobegon.
Midnight?
Crystal Lake, because then you could film your own horror movies.
Fictitious lake. So, and then I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with those lakes down in what are those lakes called down in Kentucky, Dano? Those ones are in Illinois, right by where Rick lives now, except south of him. Those are some pretty nice lakes.
Talking about the Finger Lakes? Lake Kentucky.
No, I don't think they're called that.
The lakes in western Tennessee.
I don't know. But anyway, somewhere down there. Appalachia? No, is that Appalachia? What did they call
That's
that?
the other side of the state.
What do they call western Tennessee and Kentucky? Southern Illinois.
That's where the Tennessee
I
River.
think Appalachians are on the eastern side. Yeah, eastern side of Tennessee. But I'm not
The
sure.
flyover states.
Yeah, the other side of the river from Ghost, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like Pickwick Lake. There's a bunch of lakes over there in the Memphis area, but I don't know what they're called.
I mean, Kentucky Lake is by far the largest because that's where the Tennessee River starts that goes through Kentucky, Tennessee, and what is it, Alabama or whatever it is right below it.
Oh, well, there's a big-ass lake in Tennessee, too. I forgot about. But I don't know. That's probably not the best choice because then there'd be a lot of people around it. Anyway, so that was a palate cleansing topic. We're going to pick a member of the day. I don't think I have one in here, so...
It's me today.
Okay, Angelina could be the member of the day. So,
mine would be on a lake in Ireland since you didn't ask me.
Oh, and then I also gizzarded gizzard. So how did I not ask you? So were you muted? So a lake in Ireland. You don't even want to live in this country?
No, but if someone was going to give me another house, why would I get another house in the United States? Get another house someplace else.
Okay.
Where you can't have a gun?
Just for fun, you know.
On a lake.
Join the IRA.
So yeah, you get free AR-180s up there. Gary?
I'd probably have to go with Grand Lake.
Is there a lake in Kansas?
Well, there's several, but none of them are very big.
They're more
If
like
you want a good sized lake, you got to go down in the Ozarks or northeast Oklahoma, that part of the country where they got the bigger lakes.
You go just north of the tree in Kansas. It's right there.
I don't know. I'm right in between two lakes right here, but neither one of them are that big.
Dig a ditch, connect them.
What's that big lake down in Florida? Okeechobee or something like that?
Okeechobee is huge, yeah.
I've heard that's a huge lake, yeah.
Salt Lake is big.
Yeah, I've
Great
been to the
Salt
Salt Lake in there. Yeah, I've been to the Salt Lake.
Yeah, Salt Lake, though.
have this beautiful view of a lake where there's very little to no living life.
Yeah. The lake up there by Reno and Lake Tahoe, is that Lake Tahoe, I guess is the name of the lake? That's a really cool, pretty lake from what I understand.
That's a good one.
Not a lot of places to build a house, though.
Oh, really? Okay. I was seeing a picture of the lake and it's just really pretty.
Dig into the rocks, boys.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't want Salt Lake. Salt Lake stinks.
What's that famous lake in Arizona?
Havasu?
Mead?
Havasu or something like that, yeah.
Havasu or Lake Mead, yeah.
But
Lake Mead
is
is
the spring
gonna
break
be-
freaks
yeah.
are at, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. A little populated.
Yeah.
All right, so it's just dumped on top of Angelina being a member of the day. Rude. She's a girl.
She's a girl, and she's stuck with it.
She's a girl?
That's right. I'm stuck with them parts. But anyway,
Somehow we didn't scare her off. I don't know how this happened, but
because I'm worse than all of you. That's how.
well, not worse, different. That's how I prefer to think of it. Not
That's
worse.
All right, so this afternoon we talked about, we had a 2A workshop. So I'm trying to hold those on Tuesdays and Saturdays, see if anybody's interested in getting some projects worked on, any help or whatever. I had a couple of people ask me for help, and then, trying to schedule things is a pain in the ass. So I'm just going to try doing Tuesdays and Saturdays, let people show up. And today John Z showed up and we talked a bit about, I guess we ended up talking about audience at least. And I'm going to try to bring up in here, since we have a pretty diverse panel, people that are kind of interested in creating content, the concept of using YouTube, which is a platform with a lot of viewers already, versus doing things that are more internet centric and less YouTube centric to find new audience and then more diverse audience. So I don't know if we want to, where anybody wants to take that one.
I will jump in really quickly with I started doing some live streams on Instagram, and they're lots of fun. And I find that the fact that the commenters can jump directly into the live stream with you, and they can talk with you, and they can show you what they're working on. Like somebody was showing me this really cool ham radio program that they're working on to download or decode, not ham radio, I take that back, radio program to decode the Iridium satellite telephone system. So people that are paying $9 a minute to talk on the cell phone, we're decoding it and listening to their conversations live via this software. And he was showing me it through a live stream. I was like, that's awesome. So very, very cool stuff out on like Instagram and other platforms.
Clover seems to be liking the Instagram live. Do you use Instagram TV ever?
No, I haven't made that jump yet because I don't know what to do about the editing, because all the editing is vertical, and so I would have to take videos and like I don't know how that's supposed to work.
So what's the basic process to bring another person into the chat? Do they just automatically allow themselves in, or do you have to invite them in?
They click a button and request it.
Yeah. I think you can have up to 2 guests. I think it's 2 guests, I think, at a time.
I haven't tried more than 1, but sure.
But anybody can hop in.
Yeah, they can request or you can request they join.
In there. You can have more than 1 in the Instagram live chat now?
No, I think it's just 2 people, the host and 1 guest, I think is the max you can get at one time.
Right, which is going back to blog TV type. That's basically what Instagram TV or Instagram Live is, like blog TV was, where one person's just going live and chatting, and then they can kind of see the text chat. Except the blog TV is on a computer, so you could see the text chat a lot easier, and you didn't have to poke your finger at the screen all the time to see what people were saying if there's a lot of people in there. But on Instagram Live, what if you just hold the screen sideways? Will it record sideways, and then when you shove it in your thing, it'll be right?
Well, I mean, I don't think so, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that's true.
I have never seen an Instagram Live that was sideways from somebody, ever.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the same problem with Facebook. Every time I try to take a landscape kind of shot with my camera, it always comes out sideways, and I haven't figured out how to turn it around yet.
Well, we were just been talking about specifics, but once you brought up Facebook, it triggered me. So I guess my original topic here was the idea that, we've got these existing audiences on your Facebook and on your YouTube and wherever, and those are easy audiences because somebody already created them and brought them there. Be wiping that, like, is that a banana on your face? What's going on here?
It's my kid's baby brush that they outgrew. It's like the best beard brush of all time.
Huh. Never thought
So
about
nice. So nice.
That's really funny because I was scratching my nose at the time, and I thought I had mistakenly turned my camera
on. So anyway, so you've got these audiences that exist that, YouTube spend a bunch of money to bring people over, I guess, that now they're just relying on word of mouth and people using their platform. But nonetheless, they've got these people that they brought over, and then people that are using the platform who fostered audiences. So, there's these established audiences, but what is the audience on YouTube? I mean, I guess it's a lot of people, but I recently, at least a couple months ago, was in a room with people who didn't know you could use YouTube on your telephone. So that tells me that those people are not fluent in YouTube, and they don't realize how many people are using YouTube. I suspect there might be a heck of a lot of people that never even thought about using YouTube still. And those people probably, some of them use the internet, and if they don't, they're still out there. So I guess the idea is, what do you think the pros and cons are of going out and grabbing an audience that have nothing to do with the established stuff, like the big easy markets that have already been gathered?
I think the biggest disadvantage is the internet robots that go out there and prioritize keywords and stuff. The YouTubes and the Facebooks and the big sites of the world have such a huge practical advantage over smaller guys because there are so many pages of content that's already been indexed and already been searched and clicked on and all that it makes it tough for us to to rise up in the ratings when you're just doing a straight like a Google search or dog pile or any of those other kind of guys.
I think that trying to diversify, I mean, obviously, as of right now, I mean, if you want your message out, whatever your message is for your channel, and you want that message out to as many people as you can, you're going to have to be on YouTube. But that's where the vast majority are. They know that they're going to screw you, but that's you have to kind of play that game. But I think that if you're talking about diversifying your audience, then I think that there's a lot of different ways. I mean, the podcasting thing for me has been remarkable, fun, because you're talking about people that don't go on Facebook, they don't go on YouTube, they listen to podcasts on their commute to the mornings, and that's a different audience. I mean, there's a lot of people that
exactly
I've never seen on them. Huh?
Sorry, I'm interrupting, but that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's been exciting.
Those are people that use the internet probably at least enough to figure out how to get a YouTube podcast. They might be using one of them little electric hockey pucks that people pay for that will, just suck the podcast and put it in their phone for them. But because someone at work told them, oh, you should listen to this guy called Ghost Tactical, write that down, tell your hockey puck to put it on your phone. And then they just tell their phone to have it play, right? That's the kind of world we're moving towards. And, why would we be limited to what has worked for people years ago and what seems to work for YouTube's logarithms right now when you've got people out that are podcasting? I suspect Clover's been playing a bit with his newsletter. There's people that read, right? There's people that only read, and that just don't have any respect for video or this live stuff or whatever, or even photographs, because they just don't think that it's worthy. So they're out there reading, and that's a heck of a lot of people probably. When you read, right, when you write stuff, in other words, I guess I should say, that can be translatable. That can be translated into another language. So there's people out there that might be interested in what we're doing or what you're putting out there, but they don't, video doesn't work for them because they can't translate on the fly. They don't understand, but they can, click translate on a browser and have your blog post translated into their language, and then they can follow it, maybe more for a collection thing than, or a collector's type of thing, or like I don't know, but whatever. There's things like that. We're talking about Patriot, who has a link and didn't join. For the text, again, you can click a button from text and turn it into Audible or any other kind of thing that might be more, useful for accessibility.
Well, I think that like you said, there are so many different people that are interested in so many different facets of media. And there's still a lot of people that get their newspaper delivered to them. They read the newspaper every day. But there's people, the younger generation, have never really seen a newspaper. They get everything online on their phones and all that. So I think the biggest thing that how many magazines, gun magazines, do you go and still see on the shelf? Obviously, they're still being bought. They wouldn't be doing them. So I think that, I'm not saying that for creators, go out there and try to get their stuff in magazines, but that'd be way too expensive. But I think that there is a newsletter, and like the gun channels, if you have this newsletter for all the different creators, maybe every month, kind of have a little square that they could put in about what they've done the last month, something like that, where people would read that. I think that would be amazing, or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's certainly plenty of times in the car when I wish that I could, grab some of these. I'm kind of time limited. I subscribe to like 49 different channels, and to be honest with you, like a 3-hour chat, man, I'm just not going to take up my big part of my day listening to that chat or even watching that chat. If I'm on the chat, it's fine. That's one thing, because I'm committing the time. But it would be nice to be able to play that after the fact as a streamable event, and not have to suck up so many data, the data portion of my phone with the video and all that junk. Now I assume that you can restrict the bandwidth maybe to the point where all you're getting is the audio, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Well, if you look at some of the stuff that I'll put my shows and stuff on Podbean and iTunes and iHeartRadio and all that, and you can literally download the audio podcast to your phone, and once you've downloaded it, you can listen to it whenever you want, and you're not using up data at that point. So there are those options on but most of those are like podcast apps,
I will throw this in. If you're trying to build a community, people are trying to get off of Facebook, and they, obviously YouTube is its own thing. Clover mentioned things that the kids are into. The kids these days, with their Instagram vertical phones and whatnot. I think Discord is the best community building thing I have ever been involved in, and
Discord's fun,
dude. Discord is amazing. The voice chat, the text chat. Believe it or not, the only one who's not doing Discord right now in this room is me, because I'm the only one with the camera on. All of you are just doing voice chat. This could be Discord right now, what we're doing.
Yeah, I have a Discord for my patrons only that we just kind of hang out and share pictures and all that. It's kind of fun.
I have a Discord with everybody, and then the patrons have special colored tags that only the patrons get, right? And different ranks get different colors. So as far as community goes, it's been the best thing I've ever done, because I get my time back in the sense that I'm not answering everybody's questions, most people, and it's just this growing, living thing that almost doesn't need me anymore. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like a group text thing that your community can be in there without you. I mean, you don't have to be in there. They can have their own conversations, which is
they
cool.
do. Yeah, they're in the voice chat. They're in the text chat right now. I'm not even doing anything.
Right. So you basically, Discord is a platform where you can set up rooms, and then, or more than rooms, but you can set up areas of their server, basically area, and you can divide that up to, like, let's say this is my space. We have a space for the Daily Gun Show. We'd have a space in there for 2A topics, maybe have a space in there for gun shops, have a space in there for things that are pertinent to our whatever themes, and then different discussions could take place in there. My question is, it's a text chat. Does it distinguish? Does it disappear at some point? Does it, like, hours later it disappears, or can you literally scroll back to the beginning of each text chat?
You can not only scroll back, you can search, and you can use hashtags, and you can check when people @symboled you directly. Like when, I'll come back a day later and I'll see, oh, somebody messaged me, and I can just go to my @, and it'll take me right to where the message is, and I can respond to it directly in the chat, so it stays in perpetuity. Yeah, it doesn't go away. You can change the history so that some people can't see the history.
Yeah, those settings you can change them.
I've had to deal with some trolls and stuff that we've had to, like, cut back access to because they're toxic.
Right. So there's some features to it. It sounds like it's not necessarily complicated, but it's a little bit tedious to learn their, like, structure and then all their little things. But once you've got it and the people are comfortable with it, it gives you some tools that allows text conversation, and you can share pictures and stuff. So it's a little faster than a forum. But like a forum, it's more powerful than just a plain old text or a PM, because you can create rooms and areas of interest and places for people to go have conversations that are, let's say, not in the main room, so that people can have people, like any place, you can have conversations going on in multiple subjects. It all takes place on the platform. I don't know of any remote chat host that you can drop to some other.
No. Yeah.
So that's the one side of it. And then it doesn't display anywhere, which is frustrating. So you have to basically be a member of it and go into it to find the archived information. So it might be good for having strategy sessions and workshops and things, because all the conversations are recorded and they can be indexed, but not necessarily like a blog where the information's all public and sortable and searchable publicly.
Yeah. I will say to anybody that's like an IT minded person, if you've ever set up like a work group or done any kind of admin on a router and what they can access, Discord is the same thing. It's people and it's roles, and you give people roles, and that's how it works. It's very straightforward.
I want to say, wasn't it started for like gamers, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think that was how it was started.
We have co-opted it from the gaming community.
There you go.
Well, that was going to be my next question, is what's next? So that's a method of communication, and I imagine, you have a Discord little room for each project or whatever personality or gun shop or whatever it is, and somebody can join that and then search backwards and, like you say, use tags and things to find conversations that have happened in the past and stuff. But I could see it being useful.
I know what the next big thing is.
Okay, what's the next big thing?
The gun community develops a game. It's the most realistic game ever made, but you can only play it for 5 seconds at a time because it has to stop so that everybody can yell at each other about how they're wrong when they play it. That's the next thing. Sorry. Flop, I guess. Flop the joke.
No, I laughed.
Wah.
It's like America's Army.
mic was
Army
off.
developed a game so they could get people to join the army. Okay, fine.
Be all that you can be.
Those are the good old days, man. It was a great commercial. Yeah, Discord's fun. There's all sorts of. I think for me, the way that Discord is it's kind of like a mixture of a group text and a forum. So I mean, if you're used to forums, you'll be able to understand it. If you're used to big group text messages, you'll be used to it. So I think it's kind of I like it. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Oh, also, there's so many bots that like you can use a bot to do all kinds of things. Like I have a giveaway bot that we can give away swag to people and stuff like that they're in the live stream, and I can just click a button and it'll say what the giveaway is going to be. And in 5-10 minutes, we're giving it away. You got to be in this chat. And then I can mention it on my YouTube, drive traffic to the Discord, and I boom, 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 that kind of stuff. It's awesome.
That's interesting.
Take that, Clover. I'm just kidding.
That's actually really interesting, though. I didn't know you could do all that.
Yeah, it's called Giveaway Bot.
I mean, I don't know. This sounds like a really socialist website to me. You have to force people into roles, and then you force a distribution of other people's stuff. And
well, it's
boy,
me.
I'm not sure I want to come anywhere near there.
It's my stuff. I have the capital, and I'm gonna share it with the proletariat. You got to come get some capital. I'll just give out bread. The next stream, I'll just give out bread.
And instead of hiring a worker, he has a robot. He has it all automated.
Yeah, I've actually secretly taken the proletariat out of the system because I've automated the whole thing. With
See, the more and more we talk about it, it's not such a good idea.
Yeah, Metropolis on steroids here. Jesus.
Right. As soon as I can just plug Discord in the back of your cerebral cortex and beam the chat directly in, the better I'll be.
I'm having these dreams of Animal Farm.
Yep. This is the hollow tube. And I get on and I do my 5 minutes hate, but it's all about ham radio. It's pretty awesome.
Comrade Hosh.
Yeah. Is that what they called him? Did they call him? Was it just Comrade in 1984?
Yeah, I think just Comrade.
That's not good. And I sit there all night drinking my Victory Gin.
Your vodka.
No, it's Victory Gin from 1984.
Was it gin? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I used Discord a couple times. I think I had the app. I might have deleted it. But, I mean, I felt like there was nowhere to go, but I think I just didn't know how to use it.
You have to
not browser friendly.
Crash course if you want.
Invited, and then once you're familiar with the system, you can seek out invitations to new areas on it. But it's not like I don't know if Facebook's even like that, really. I mean, I guess you can go to Facebook. Can you even go to just like the main page of Facebook and browse things, or do you have to have a destination in mind?
No,
well, you can use searches and stuff. It's almost the same.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, a lot of the people that are on the Discord, they don't want to be on Facebook. Like, we have a Ham Radio Crash Course Facebook group, and a lot of the people that are there don't want to be on Discord, and the people on Discord don't want to be on Facebook.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying it's...
Oh, I know you didn't, but I'm just saying that's another angle.
Go to Discord and start searching around. I mean, there might be some open rooms. It's sort of like Vimeo. You just didn't really go to Vimeo and search around. There's a bunch of... It's like going to a storage shed. It's not like going to a mall. You go to a storage shed and it's just a bunch of people's private rooms.
Perfect analogy. Storage shed or mall. Good.
Yeah. You go to Facebook and it's a bunch of mall. You know, everything's like open and hey, come on in, look at what we got. You go to Discord, it's like here's room 127, here's room 128, here's room 129. Unless you got a key and an invite or know the knock, it's just a door to you.
That's kind of true.
There.
Well, I remember back in the day, the old AOL group, the little group chats. Like everyone just kind of jumped in and out whenever they wanted to, and you kind of caught these crazy discussions. It's kind of like that, but better. I mean, it was just one of those things where everything's live. I mean, you can go anytime you want, and there's people going to be in there. So, but those old AOL chats, man, those were kind of weird, but they were effective at the time.
Well, remember IRC, right? You didn't know IRC. You had to know where to go.
Right.
AOL paid me handsomely. I don't get nothing off of Discord, so I like the AOL chats a lot more.
Well, you're just not using it correctly, then, I guess. I'm not getting paid on Discord either. I should say that.
Nice.
But I think it helps build the community and saves me time. I don't have to answer everybody's questions. It's awesome.
That's because I used to work at AOL. So.
Oh.
All right. So, anything else? Would anybody else have any ideas of where the internet's going, so we can beat it to take a shortcut right to where it's going?
Yes. As much as you mentioned services owned by service companies like Discord, YouTube, Facebook, etc., I think there is going to be a future growth in the area of mesh networking, meaning small little localized mesh networks that pop up that create access to the internet. That's more on the service side of it, providing the internet to get to content. But there is a future where there may be content that's only available on certain meshes, and they're just wirelessly aggregating. I see a future like that.
Right. So, and instead of having internet providers like we have with cable or whatever, because we're dependent on their connections with infrastructure, there'll be basically hubs or COs that get rented out, and then smaller, like what are those things called? The electric companies that aren't electric companies. They're
co-ops.
Co-ops. It'll be like a little co-op internet bandwidth type of stuff.
Yeah, it could start out as simple as just a service provider to get to the said content, like Netflix or whatever. But then I don't see why that there couldn't be just separate in-network only things that were available, and it would be community-driven possibly as well. Because right now anyone can do this. You can all create mesh networked Wi-Fi,
like kind of like a public access internet type thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And you just have to have enough power on your roof with the right antenna, and you can create a mesh network. And if the power system goes down, you don't technically lose your Wi-Fi. Of course, you lose Google and anything that's not connected to that, but you still have messaging capability and anything else that you can come up with on your own. Any service that's available privately, you can technically host on your own.
To call that
That's
just
really
stealing our neighbor's signal?
No, there's nothing like that. Because you're actually generating the Wi-Fi signal, and you're creating these mesh nodes that you interact with. So multiple signal aggregators will talk to each other, and they'll create a bubble. And the software is smart enough that it will route the traffic through the shortest path possible to get to wherever that host is that is a part of that network.
Like when you talk about these networks, I mean, we're talking, let's say, distance-wise in miles. I mean, what's like, how far could these things last?
About a mile is the circular,
gotcha.
circular unidirectional, but then you can focus it. You can focus it and make it more beam based. Okay, go shoot, mommy. Good.
It's interesting.
I imagine like a house full of Pringles cans.
Yeah, but the commercial version that much stronger.
A Yagi.
Caleb Pope Joy says, "Can we please set up a Gun Channels Discord?" I think there is one.
Yeah, just go
Yeah,
down
there.
left, and it's already there.
So you just go to gunchannels.com, and there should be a link there, right?
Yeah, it's on
G-Webs?
the bottom left.
Bottom left there, buddy. It already exists.
Honorary and Russ use it. A couple other people that use Discord use it.
And the best thing you can do is go there and post, and it will be a self-perpetuating machine. And once more people use it, it becomes more popular. Share the link if G-Webs knows how to do that. I can tell him after the chat, like open it up to a copy link that you can paste anywhere, and you can put it on your websites or whatever, and it will drive people back in.
Yeah, it's there on the bottom left.
Yeah, just copy his link and use that.
Again, because it's a potential to keep the rooms locked, you can put out links that expire a certain amount of time or this and that, but the link that's there is an open link that'll last forever. All right, so Midnight's jumping out. I don't know if Ghost jumped out or if he just fell out. But what you're talking about as far as a different way of people connecting, or an alternative way of people connecting that you think might catch on, is that in response to the way people are going to be using the internet, or the way that you anticipate people are going to move towards using the internet, or from some other technical reason you're saying that's going to happen?
I think that we're already carrying, where's my phone? But phones already are computers in your pocket and have a lot of the processing power to do some of this stuff, that you would just need some kind of local node that you can tap into, and it may be meshed with other nodes. And you may not want to have your text messages go out on AT&T. You may want them to be on the node, which is private, only in your community type of thing, or email or whatever. So it starts out at the communication level, like all things does, just simple communication, voice or text, right? You can easily do that with these systems pretty much right now. And then they just start going up and up and up from there as people lose faith in large corporations or their government protecting access to things like communication. And that, I think, is a possibility. And I think both sides of the net neutrality argument would appreciate that kind of ability. I think.
So anybody else thinking of, or have any ideas on how the internet's moving, where it's going, so we can cut it off?
I mean, onward and upward, you know. The internet's it's a living, breathing thing, I think.
It's a living, breathing thing controlled by robots.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's a definition of Skynet, ain't it?
I don't know. I think we're almost at full Skynet. You know, when you like say something, like you'll say, you know, oh hey, I'm thinking about getting a new sweater. Then you're on Facebook, and then you got
yeah, sweater ads.
Yeah, you got sweater ads. Like, I didn't look up sweaters. I just said, hey, I'm thinking of buying a new sweater. So you're either listening to me or reading my mind, and I don't like either.
So do you think people are going to continue to go, well, that's awesome, or not even worry about it, or they're going to start saying, I'm sick of that, and they're going to not want it?
I think most people are like, haha, hey girl, getting my nails done. Oh, what? Oh, never mind, who cares? Because they're like high on social media, so they don't give a shit. They just want to post pictures of their food. They're like dumb kids. And
well, that's what Facebook
else.
is for.
Well, yeah, but then when you see shit like that, you'll pause and be like, oh, it's kind of weird. But then you'll be like, you know, oh, gotta play Farmville. So they don't give a shit.
Oh yeah, for a long time I had to keep deleting the game stuff that people kept sending me. It's driving me nuts.
Gay or game?
Game.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people would be playing this candy thing, and yeah, well.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but.
No, I mean, I didn't hear what you said because I.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
the internet.
Send a free life or something. I don't even play that damn game.
The internet's just gonna. I think it was Farmville.
Oh Jesus!
I played a little bit of Farmville back in the day.
How about that Candy Crush though?
No, I don't know shit.
What's the one? The was it the bird one? What was it called?
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds. Yeah.
Oh man, I played that. I played that for a while. That was.
Hey kids, do you remember 10 years ago? It's the 10 years ago Facebook game chat.
Yeah.
Stop making me feel old.
But that's an example of trends and
oh hell yeah,
preference, right, and taste. People figured out that they could play them little time waster games. I suspect a lot of people went, oh wow, this wasted a lot of time, right? They probably have a place. I can remember my grandparents sitting around playing like books, whatever cross, whatever little games.
Bridge. They probably play bridge also. But
No, individual games like with a pen and a book, like crosswords and
okay, yeah.
puzzle
Yeah,
games.
but that was it. Ghost brings out a good point because the games that we used to play in the old days were sociable games because we sat around the table and we had we interacted with each other while we were playing the game. So if you were playing bridge or setback or mahjong or whatever the hell it was, you had people, and I do the same thing with dominoes. I became a real dominoes freak. Therefore, when I go on my cruises, I have a big crew that loves to play dominoes, and we bring 2 or 3 sets and all that kind of stuff. But the game, we're kind of playing the game like in the background. It's almost like a subliminal thing, and the main thing is yakking with each other and having social contact. Where a lot of the games today, especially the first person shooters and stuff, you don't want contact with anybody else. You're just in it for yourself, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
I
my
actually
wife.
have a game night every week now, like a sit down at a table, non-digital game night.
And it's
my
not
daughter
Dungeons and
did
Dragons,
one over in
right?
college.
It's a punishment.
I remember playing that social game Solitaire a lot with a deck of cards.
No, I played Monopoly a couple weeks ago. I played Uno last week. I think I played Life.
Yeah, Uno's a classic.
Oh, you're going through all the 70s games?
I don't know. It's just ones that we had as
I mean,
a
by
like.
the 80s, they stopped making material games.
Well, they have other real fun, more adult games too. I mean, what the
Trivial
Cards
Pursuit.
Against the World or whatever the hell it's called, or something
Cards
like
Against
that.
Humanity.
Do you remember
Oh,
when
those things are hilarious.
You remember when Pictionary was big and everyone was having Pictionary games and drawing all
Yeah.
that crap? My parents used to have that shit when I was growing up. Like, drove me nuts.
Yep.
Hosh cribbage, yeah.
Well, so I remember being like a quote unquote hardcore gamer, like PC gamer, all that stuff, and we'd hear the numbers coming out like, oh, this game's got so many million people playing, this game's got so many million people, and then all of a sudden like Facebook and mobile games starts popping up millions and millions and millions. Like, what is all this? And it was just people playing on their phone because they want to play a game, and they're playing board games on their phone, and they're playing Farmville or whatever on their phone, and that since like I think trumped a lot of the gaming that quote unquote gaming that happens is out now just in mobile spaces. So all the stuff, people still play dominoes and hearts, and chess is huge in the online community. There's YouTubers out there that are like, I don't know how many views they have, how many subscribers, but they're just massive chess channels, and they're actually really fun videos. I've watched a ton of them. I don't play chess that well, but I really enjoy the videos.
My wife plays constantly at night. She has on her phone a little slot machine game. It's free. It's not real money. It's just a slot machine. They have tournaments, and it's a huge thing that people just get together and sit in these rooms and play slot machines. It's kind of funny to watch her do it because she takes it pretty seriously, and it's like it's not even real money. But for her, that's how she enjoys it.
Can you online smoke a cigarette while you spin
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Smoke a cigarette online instead of physically smoke
a little
it while you're
cigarette
playing
emoji.
Yeah. You could see the cigarette while you pull the lever.
That would be awesome.
Sweet.
Having like robots come around asking for drinks or something.
That's what kids are for. Go get daddy a beer.
Playing slots. Go get me a beer.
Yeah.
Dana, why don't you pick the gun shop tonight? He's still awake.
Ooh, can I pick one? If he's not awake.
Dano.
Yes, you can pick one.
I did a video on Friday. It was a cool shop. I was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I asked a couple of guys, what's a cool gun shop? So I did a video on it. It's called Fort Chaffee Outfitters. It's in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And it's honestly one of the best gun shops I've ever been to. So it's really, really cool. A huge selection. It's a huge building, and the staff was awesome. They're very, very knowledgeable. They had a nice little couch area where they sit down and have coffee. But they had everything you could possibly want. They had at this shop, and it was really, really awesome. I was really happy to go there.
Somebody said Stratego in the chat, and I just want to say
Yes.
Stratego is awesome.
It's
So
going
much fun.
back a long ways.
They have a new version out with like new rules, but I don't play the new rules. I just play the original one. It's awesome. It's not like it used to be though, where they had the little. You still have the little castle pieces, but you have to like stick the things on it, which is stupid. I like the ones that were just like engraved with the silver paint or the gold paint. That was awesome.
There it is. How about that? Yeah, it's a really cool gun shop. I really, really liked it. They had a huge, I mean, I'd say a huge, but it's bigger than most gun shops that I've seen. A women's only. They had all sorts of different concealment holsters and purses and all sorts of stuff for women. But I mean, it was a really good shop. I was really impressed with it.
Hey, I like it. Racks that aren't just full of ARs. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Not that I have a problem with that, but just, oh my God, every shop in California is all ARs.
Right.
So a lot of fire starters and bear
Mm-hmm.
spray and flashlights here. So more of like a everything store, or
Yeah, I
just
mean, they had like a whole aisle of survival stuff. I mean, they had all sorts of camping stuff. I mean, it wasn't just a gun shop. It was an outdoor shop. It was pretty awesome. But you can tell, I mean, it's a huge shop.
How far away from your place is this?
This is about 2.5 hours from my house. It's about 5 minutes from the Walther factory. They're the ones who sent me over there. They guys said, you got to go check this place out. So I went over there, and they got a smith there. I mean, they can do pretty much anything you want there.
I like that relaxation area.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You weren't offended by the Cigar Store Indian?
No, hell no.
Oh, sweet. So you can like sit. I mean, do people sit? Do they have like coffee makers and stuff? You can sit down.
Yeah, there's
and
a
have
coffee machine. There was coffee there. They had a box of donuts. You know, I mean, they just come on in.
Oh my God.
Make a day of it. You know.
I love that.
Donuts, coffee, a place to sit down. How much better does it get than I submit?
Yeah, it was honestly one of the coolest gun shops I've ever been to. Like, I'm definitely going to try to go there as much as I can. Like, if I'm going through there, I've got to go right by there to go to Tulsa and stuff. I mean, it's definitely a place to stop in.
That is a well-stocked pistol case or a handgun case. Too.
Oh
Look at
yeah!
that. Wow, that's awesome.
They've got rifles and ammo that just go on and on and on. You know, that lever, they've got bolt action, they've got semi-automatic from 22 all the way up to the big calibers that you could use for hunting. So they've got the selection. It's unbelievable. I was very, very impressed with the knowledge of the staff behind the counter. They really know their stuff. And like I said, I got a smith there. As soon as you walk in the door, there is a dedicated.
So you notice the like pans and the music in the background, dude. You basically did a commercial for them. How long were you?
I did, yeah.
How long were you in the store? Do you think altogether?
Half an hour.
Okay, so I was gonna say I could, probably bullshitting or whatever, but
oh yeah, I mean filming probably 10 minutes, but I mean I was in there for 20 minutes just bullshit with the owner and the staff and all that. So
that's what it's all about. Like this is something that if they went to pay some service or some guy in town, you charge them hundreds of bucks for this, at least hundreds of bucks, maybe be able to get it out to some people. But you basically what you built them here is commercial. It shows the size and scale, flavor, and the variety of the stuff they got.
That is a lot of purses.
Formative. So that's what it's all about, man. So I think that's great. And you just did this on your computer. Obviously, you didn't need a bunch of thing to put it all together. Just a little bit of working online. You didn't go to school or nothing for it. You just watched some YouTube videos on how to use the software and talk to people about what software to use. And came out with, like I said, this is the kind of shit that I'm sure they'd be proud of. Seeing something like this just exist. And this is
kind of cool. On the Facebook, they have a Facebook page, and this thing has been shared 24 times. I'm assuming it's by people that live in that area and the gun shop and employees and all that, but it's been shared 24 times. So, I'm assuming they appreciate it. So it was really cool. It was a really cool experience.
Cool shop.
It is a really, really cool. It's like I said, it's one of the coolest shops I've ever been to, and I've never heard of it before. They've been there since 2009.
Only thing I'd throw in there is something like a map. So I usually use a map to get.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay.
Or something. Just kind of give people an idea where it's, where the hell it is.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that the next time.
That's over on the Gun Streamer.
It is, of course.
Oh, and then a link to their shop. I was going to in the description down here. You don't have like an actual link. Who did one? Gary?
What did I do?
Somebody just did a video of the shop also.
No, it wasn't me.
Then it was Gun Snob? I think it was Gun Snob. Because I think I was watching his video of this engraver. And then right here, he like threw Okay. Right on. So one of the reasons we do the show on a daily basis is so that we can feature a gun shop every day. So that was an awesome review and hopefully inspirational. You did that with basically your camera, and you just went in, said, "Hey, I'd like to take a video." They said, "Okay." You did. Took you like say 10 minutes worth of whatever, maybe another hour's worth of editing. Something that'll be there forever. Even if they change the shop or do a remodel or something happens and they move locations, they'll always have that as a remembrance. And it's cool. You got a picture of their sign outside, so that's cool. See their phone number and everything right away. And you never know, with that kind of video, the way you did it, just panning the inventory like that, somebody might see like that one, whatever the hell that big hunting pistol thing was, and go, "Oh yeah, I've been looking for that forever." That's happened a couple of times with people who've done reviews of their shops, and the shops will get calls and say, "Hey, I saw that thing in a video. Do you still have that? Like send it to my FFL."
Yeah, I never thought about that, but I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it was one of those. That was the first kind of like on location thing that I've done for a gun shop, like an actual tour. And I'm kind of glad that was the first one because it was an amazing gun shop. I mean, I went over there, I walked in the door, and I was like, okay, I gotta get my camera. So I asked the owner, I said, "Do you mind?" He goes, "No, man, go ahead." And it was just we'd sit there and talk for a little bit, and then it was just great, and it was really cool. I enjoyed the whole experience.
All right, we'll go left to right, and your favorite board game, Angelina?
Checkers.
Ugh. Cycle Camp?
Board game, it'd still be Monopoly, I think.
Ugh.
Mars?
Acquire.
What? Real board
Called
game?
Acquire. Great board game.
Is anybody going to confirm that's really a board game? Just making shit up.
You made it up.
Ghost?
Axis and Allies.
Oh, interesting. Went full.
I love that game.
Almost 100% nerd right there. Gizzard?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, there's a new one my daughter got me last year. It's called Pandemic.
That's good.
That's a good game. A lot of fun.
But you got confirmation, so it exists. Hosh?
Warhammer. 40K or fantasy.
Hold on. Is this a board game or some kind of weird role-playing game or something?
You can play it. You play it on a board. It's just big, very big.
Yeah. All right. This is some kind of.
Well, that's like saying Dungeons and Dragons is a board game. I mean, yeah, you use graph paper, but
no, that you have to have actual things on the table to play it.
Relativity.
It's not a talk your way through a game.
You got to have a whole bucket full of dice. I mean, Jesus.
Relativity is saying Sorry is the best board game.
Yeah, I guess depending on the army you have, you could have a bucket full of dice. That is true.
Clover is saying Warhammer also.
Oh, yes.
Risk. What did
I
you
don't remember? What is Warhammer? I've never heard of that one.
Me either.
Warhammer's awesome. It's
the Dungeons and Dragons tool.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. There's no like characters or anything like that. Well, anyway, it's awesome.
It says
Warhammer. Is it a new one?
War game that simulates battles between terrestrial armies in a medieval fantasy theme. Based on, or as in other miniature war games, players use miniature models to represent warriors and artillery. So it's like, what was that one game?
Risk?
No, on a computer game. Where you'd have to like mine minerals and make little things, and then you'd have enough critters to go attack the little snails.
Warcraft?
It's like Warcraft except in real life.
Yeah, but you don't have to mine anything. The army is the army. You field the army, and the army has a cannon. And if the cannon gets blown up, then the dudes can get away from the cannon and they can go fight. Like there's vehicles that people can get out of the vehicles. It's awesome.
So we got 2 votes for sorry. Marco is saying sorry also. Pandemic is unique in that all players play together against the game, not in competition. Interesting.
That's a
Well, it's got to
communist game.
be. It's a survival game, right?
You're basically, you're trying to wipe out global disease and stuff like that. And meanwhile, the stuff's outbreaking all over the world. So you're trying to, as a team, you're going around trying to cure all these diseases before they outbreak and kill everybody.
Secret Hitler's a good board game.
Dan?
I would go for Trivial Pursuit.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. So, hold on. I'm looking for, I guess Trivial Pursuit's a board game, even though it's a card game.
It has a board, the pieces of the pie. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to move around. Yeah.
It's a piece, and then you got to get the pies in your pieces. Then you got to race to the center.
Yeah.
Is this the Acquire game you're talking about, Gary?
Or Dead Horse, yeah. This game's been out since the 60s, so I'm very surprised none of you have ever heard of it, but
Okay, so
it
no,
is.
Gary was talking about that other game. Gary was talking about Pandemic. You were talking about this one.
Yeah, Acquire.
Okay. So you've had these bookshelf games before? Has anybody else had these bookshelf games?
Mm-mm.
Oh my
What?
God. So
No, mine are just in regular boxes.
Oh, the wooden box bookshelf ones? I've had those.
they're not, I guess they might be wood, but there was a whole series of these ones that we would call them bookshelf games because they were different than board games. Board games were like for kids, and these were like for adults or something. So they had like way tougher rules and all kinds of cooler stuff. So this was one of my favorites. You'd have these little pegs and these little spanners that look like wrenches. And it was basically, isn't there a computer game where you have to draw a line across the screen and somebody else is drawing a line the other way? Kind of like Tron Motorcycles. So it's kind of like Tron Motorcycles, except also like checkers. So each turn you'd be able to put a new peg in and then connect your pillar that you put in with your existing pillars, and at the same time you're making a line across the board, you're blocking your opponent. So that one was pretty crazy. So did you have any of these other ones besides Acquire? I think we had Acquire also.
I'm surprised nobody said Catan. Settlers of Catan?
I don't know that one.
Really? That's a great game.
But nobody's heard of these bookshelf games.
Nope.
There was,
No, I haven't.
Acquire.
yeah.
That's what I
50s and
picked.
60s.
And when the 2 oldest guys in here haven't heard of it, that says something.
Oh, it was too high. It was classy. I can't help it if you weren't classy.
Ooh, take
Well,
that.
it's very intellectual too. It's like especially
You
Acquire.
lost me on that one. I eat crayons for dinner, so you.
I
have
didn't
to-
like Battleship. I've never liked Battleship.
I sense a snootiness amongst us.
I'm trying to remember because those were definitely the funnest games because they were just
Wait, did our intellectual just actually say funnest?
Funnest.
funnister. They were funner than
The
funner.
most
funnest.
funnest. The most is funnest.
All right, so we'll see if anybody else says anything on the chats there. Battleship was pretty good.
I hated Battleship.
Really?
There's no tactics to it.
Yeah, it's shitty.
My battleship.
Oh, you played the old put the boats on the side of the square tactic.
There was battleships in it. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's cool, but Jesus. Just like real life, some dude screaming about some random space in which they try and blow something up.
I think Clover said Clue, and Clue is a fun one. I did enjoy Clue.
Parcheesi? I've heard of that word, but I don't think I've ever played Parcheesi.
I think I played it once. I did
What
not
about
like
good
it.
old
Yeah, not bad.
backgammon? Does anybody play
I was
backgammon?
going to say backgammon, but I never understood
That's
that
a
damn
fun
game.
I still have a set. Yeah.
Cycle just went into backgammon. Did you say you had a whole bunch of people you play backgammon with?
No, that was Domino's.
Oh, Domino's backgammon.
Even
My
older
runner-up
than
is
backgammon.
chess.
My day, yeah.
Chess would be my second runner-up.
Cribbage. I love cribbage. But that's not a board game, it's a card game.
With a board, though.
Yeah,
That's
just
true.
for keeping score.
Right.
All right, so we're talking about board games. I'm just going to throw out there because I've been doing the cards and stuff. You can totally make a board game. So if somebody wanted to be creative and come up with a Second Amendment type of board game, that's another way to create audience and to gather people who are out there that might not be using YouTube or something else like that by creating an actual thing that maybe goes to gun shows or sell it to gun shops or something. I don't know, but you've got the what do you call them, the platforms now like Indiegogo and Kickstarter, where you can get an idea jump started, get people venture capitalize it, turn it into an existing thing, and then maybe use that as some outreach to get Second Amendment stuff out there in a different way.
So if you did a gun game, it'd have to be based like on a Game of Life or something like that, where you're trying to build a good gun collection or something.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say something like Operation with an AR-15, but yeah, or something like Life, where you're trying to build like the ultimate gun man cave or gun collection or something.
Sorry, shit hit the fan. Can we call it that?
But nobody be sorry, so just something else.
Well, I like some of the elements of Monopoly, because you'd have like instead of the chance card, you'd have the new legislation cards, that would screw you up all the time.
Chance card. Oh, boating
you
accident.
just got all your guns confiscated.
That's right. You land on a square where risk warrant issued, go directly to jail, lose all your guns.
You've just been red flagged.
Spending money on the tax stamp and stuff like that.
But the problem is the winning strategy of Monopoly is to get more money than everybody else and bankrupt everybody. And I can't figure out what the winning strategy of a gun game like that would be. So I like the elements, some of those elements, but I don't like that's why I think like the Game of Life, where you're trying to build a collection and get a representative sample of all different
short
guns.
on money, they can sell their guns at a gun show or sell them to other players and stuff like that.
Acquire more guns to build your electronic presence.
It could be like Magic the Gathering, and you could have like they would confront each other, so like a 9mm would lose to everybody and 45s would win.
Oh yeah, the guy plays the BAR card, you're totally screwed, That'd be hilarious.
I'm bringing a minigun.
You can make it call the game Acquire More Firearms.
There you go. Woods out there says you could try to build your own gun company in the game or something. You start out with an FFL, or you start out this, that, and the next thing you know, your big one is you own a gun company.
Build your guns get recalled and stuff like that.
Sorry, you built your company in California. Lose 5 turns.
Get like contracts or like new innovations or something.
Yeah, cool. Like government contracts would be a great one.
Town in Missouri outlaws all guns.
Called Acquire.
Release statement to
and
media.
You try to buy
saying,
the other gun companies until you're like the gun company. You own all the other gun companies.
Release
NRA lets you down again, lose a turn.
Right.
Release statement to the media saying all guns only need 5 rounds. Change the face of all gun manufacturing for 20 years.
Oh wow! There you go. There you go.
Make deal with devil to include Hillary Hole in your firearms.
Oh God. Lose 10 turns.
See, we got the chance cards. I mean, we're just knocking them off right here. I mean, we already got a whole stack of them.
We got the negative stuff. We got to come up with the positive stuff or something.
You develop sweet tannerite, make $100,000. YouTubers start blowing themselves up, lose 5 turns.
Your gun was featured in a video game. Sales have increased 30%.
Yes.
Liberals take over Congress, gun sales skyrocket.
Movies use your firearms. A prominent anti-gun actor uses your firearm in a movie. Sales go up.
Goes on late night TV to say how he's for gun control. Move back 3 spaces.
Yeah, because it's always like
out a tweet that he was given a gun in a parking lot.
Like every one of them is like you get some money, but then you lose a turn. That's pretty messed up.
Maybe it could be gun shops. and then you're trying to acquire inventory, and you have customers, and you have all those different political things we talked about, and then
Yeah, you start off as a private guy and just doing a couple sales here and there, and then maybe you get to the point where you get your FFL, and then you get a storefront, and make deals with distributors and things like that.
You could make something like that, like The Sims, where like you have a gun store and you got to devote so much of it to like table space for selling products, so much for like FFL for holding guns.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like you could do that easy. You could probably mod a game that already exists to do that.
Yeah, like SimCity would be like that.
Or Sims. The Sims would be like that.
What's the one that they advertise on TV all the time that has the really great commercials, the animated commercials?
Oh man, what do you
mean? Where the guy starts off as like a troglodyte, and then he
god,
he's always doing stuff for his wife. His wife gets more beautiful as the thing goes on. And he starts off at a cave, and he ends up on a castle deck with her.
God,
what I mean, though?
Yeah,
like World of Empires or something.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah,
man. Everybody starts out with just sticks, and then you're like, "Hey, what if we put some fireworks on the end of this stick?" Age of Empires? No, it's Age of Empires is a different. It's a mobile game. Something of Ages, I think, is what it's called. It's on my phone, and my phone is charging in the other room. So,
but I like that. I like the the gun sale game or something like that. And maybe you become an international weapons manufacturer, distributor. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think Clover was talking about like the properties could be different states, and different states are going to have different restrictions. So you have to play the game within those states.
Rise of Empires.
Gun Guru.
Rise of Empires is what it's called.
Gun Guru for the name, you're saying, Gary?
Yeah.
What if you had like what if we took Operation, the game, but it was like a gunsmith version?
Right.
That's not cool as hell.
Like tricking out your AR?
Yeah, but like if you you have if you do it wrong, you have an accidental discharge and smoke comes out of the game.
Use your gun together and it looks like one of them little Gopher guns, or what is that company? The mouse guns or turtle? What's the name of that company? Goat guns, right?
Guns.
Little tiny
guns, yeah.
And you put it together, and then instead of having like the thing buzz and have a little light go off, like internet trolls tell you how your gun is wrong.
It just while you're playing it, it's posting to Instagram to piss people off. I love it.
That would be kind of cool.
Make it kind of a cool learning thing, yeah, exactly.
An app that sends your finished product off to Instagram. That would be kind of like some sort of little gun maker.
Like a mobile game. I've got all the ideas, guys. Who wants to make this happen? I don't want any money or anything. Just do it.
Ooh, Ashley out there says the name should be 2A Life. That's a pretty cool name.
And every player gets a different state.
Exactly.
Some of the states
if you get California, you're fucked, or New York, or shit,
Like if you want to play hard, they give you California. And
I like Clovertax's idea. I like Clovertax's idea where you have the properties around the board like Monopoly, but the properties are different states, and you either try to build stuff on them or get the hell away from them.
Oh my God, I know what it is. You know how like when you play Oregon Trail and you can be the banker from Boston. It's like an Oregon Trail game, but you're like the IT manager from California. Or you're the investment banker from New York, but the laws are totally effed, so you can't do anything with guns.
One player has to be the ATF agent or something like that.
Oh, that would be hilarious. You gotta draw straws on who gets to be the ATF.
You could be a gunsmith from Texas.
That barrel's not legal anymore. Oh, that magazine isn't legal. No, you can shoulder. Nope, you can't shoulder it anymore.
You can't shoulder. Yes, you can. No, you can't. No, you can't. Yes, you can.
You got caught with 5 illegal magazines and a barrel that is 16 inches, but they don't say it is. Go directly to jail. And then it plays like some 8-bit sound.
You must pay me $200 for your SBR and wait 7 turns before you can roll again.
Toby got caught with a case of waiting for their gun to get out of jail. Wait 5 days.
So was it Dano that said Trivial Pursuit was his board game? What about some sort of a 2A Trivial Pursuit? isn't Trivial Pursuit like colors, like
Yeah.
movies and health and I don't forget right?
Yeah.
It's categories.
I love that.
Yeah, the whole deal with Trivial Pursuit is it's categories.
Right.
So you come up
So you got plenty of categories. I mean, you know, for firearm stuff.
shotgun
Yeah.
rifle, right?
Well, no, I mean you could do gunsmithing, you could do gun history, you could do guns in sports, like actual like biathlon,
Entertainment, just like you guys are doing.
I mean,
Yeah.
card sets already exist. You know,
Guns in the movies. What a great category. You know.
Somebody's like burning up pencil lead, writing all these ideas
something to
down.
do with all these 2A creator cards.
I'm literally making a note in my phone right now.
Somebody's burning paper up, like, oh my god!
I guess I'm seeing some dollar signs here, guys.
And then you could just have a section on like famous anti-gun quotes.
Well, before we go any further, let's make sure we let everybody know that all the ideas mentioned during this episode are copyrighted by the moderators of the panel.
That's
so
correct.
you're not allowed to use any of them without paying us.
That's correct.
Unless it's really good, in which case we'll let you get away.
Unless you cut in, you got to cut us in.
You got to cut us in, exactly. As
My
a
dumb
collective
face
group,
on
we
the box
require
going like this.
51% of the stock. As a collective group, 51% of the stock. That's all we ask.
You just need to pimp some YouTube channels. You'll probably be all right. Or some Instagram, whatever. Oh man, I could go for a while on this one. Famous battles in which revolutionary firearms were deployed for the first time. Man,
Common misconceptions, right?
Oh my God, yes, common
Oh, yeah.
misconceptions about firearms. That's awesome.
Well, you could just have a category on foreign guns also. I mean, can you imagine all the guns that are foreign made over the years that are
Oh,
great
yeah.
classic guns?
You'd have a category just on the AK-47 and all the variants and all the other stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, those would have to be booster packs because if people
Oh yeah.
they're not going to want to play a game that delves into it, right? But you could have a basic set and then by whatever you're into, World War I or II or laws or
Yeah, you could have the gun nerd version.
Clover said 1% roll the gun channels.
Yeah, in 1% in perpetuity, most will go. Yeah, that would
Most will go.
I would say
Absolutely.
1%'s not. That's a drop in the bucket. 5% would be like.
I was going to say, yeah, I think 5 would probably be fine too,
Okay, who wants to go on Shark Tank next week?
Dude, I'm serious. There's some really cool ideas. I mean,
I'll go. We're already in LA.
Yeah, she's already been beaten up as badly as she can be beaten up. It can't get any worse.
She's like, I got nothing else going on. Let's do it.
I still like this operation concept though.
There's been 2 or 3 games concepts that have been really good.
Yeah,
I think it'd be awesome to sit there and be able to learn how to build an AR. You can use it with your kids. Your kids can sit there and learn while you're building an AR. They can be playing the game until they're old enough to do it themselves. That's awesome.
If they put the wrong barrel in and they click the all done button, it starts. A siren goes off. You got arrested.
Exactly. Sorry, son. You can't use that 8.5-inch barrel with that fixed stock.
Oh, sorry. You used the trigger system that came with that AK-47 kit you bought. You made an automatic weapon.
That's right.
But the truth of the matter is that the game about either putting together firearms or doing the gun shop, it really is more like Dungeons and Dragons because there's so many elements of chance where, okay, well let's roll up and see if the ATF actually made it to your doorstep.
Oh, you got to roll for initiative?
Yeah.
I gotta roll a d20 to see if. Oh, I critically failed. The ATF has taken all my guns.
Who wins the shootout on the confiscation lawn?
Oh Jesus! Uh oh! Now we're getting. It's like you could do like a. So there was a board game I used to play, which was an amazing board game, and if you can find one, it is super awesome. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's much easier to approach. It's called Hero Quest. Hero Quest had expansion quests that you could buy, and it used the same items from the game in your game with a couple additional ones. You could easily do something like that. Just have like a standard board and have scenario. Like you could have like a scenario based some kind of firearm, like you're a defender and your player that's coming in has 3 guys. Where are they entering from? And you could place windows and all that stuff. Like you could do a whole like entrance type of gun altercation even with something like this.
Well,
I think that's pushing the bounds, but I think that would be awesome.
So are we talking like instead of a Cards Against Humanity where you're putting together like a sort of like, what is that thing called? Like a Mad Libs of swears?
Yeah.
And giggles. What if you did like a Mad Libs of a scenario and then you drew out like what you might do, you know, so like you're in a alley and someone confronts you.
Yeah, but it was like a board. You'd have like an alley board or like a house board. And
I'm talking like Cards for Humanity, where there's just this concept, and then you come up with like ways to address that situation. So the situation is described randomly, and then
that's good too.
And talks about like how they would deal with that situation.
Yeah, that's good too.
You're traveling and you have no firearm, and the cab stops and the doors are locked. You know, I don't know, something like, you know, the things that 2 or 3 cards could establish the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it's kind of funny to have like the scenario of you're in a house, like you're the defenders of the house, and the people attacking you get to place like entry points, and then you have to kind of like position your people with doorways and whatever to defend against it. And you could put like a shotgun on this guy, or you know, a rifle on this guy, and it would all be based on, and they wouldn't know because you'd reveal the board as the entrance team came in to attack you, kind of thing.
Yeah, you'd be rolling to see, okay, how good was that hit? You know. General relativity on the gun channel side says, get to the range. Can you collect all the gear to make it to the range before your friends?
You forgot coffee.
So now let's go to the range.
Your accuracy loses 5%.
Let's go to the range if everybody's still interested in pursuing this. And what games could be created that could be played at a range to, I don't know, learn something or bring new shooters on board in a different way, or to emphasize skills that you don't already have?
Well, I can kind of give you an idea of what the December drill of the month is going to be a card game. And so, I mean, everyone plays cards, understand the concept of cards, playing cards, and I'm incorporating that in the drill of the month. But I think if you try to make it fun using a card game, or you could play tic-tac-toe with, you know, a big target with 2 people, you know, playing tic-tac-toe, kind of block the holes and all that. I mean, it's all sorts of stuff you could do.
I know there's somebody that has a deck of cards which are drills, and you would, like, I think the concept is you shuffle the deck and pull one out, and then, or a couple out, and either they together establish some kind of drill, or you just do, you know, stack them. If you draw 2, you do both of those drills.
It's like sexy dice, but for gun drills.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think it's just to give you some randomness to your training, so that when you're going to the range, but you know, instead of being prepared for what you're going to do, boom, you find out at the range, you know, at the table, at the moment, what you're going to be doing.
I like that. That's pretty cool, actually.
I just rolled lick my recently fired barrel.
I like the thing Psycho put out there. He says Pew Pew, a game similar to basketball's horse, except like you choose a card to determine what kind of target and what kind of gun and what kind of position maybe that you have to shoot from.
Like 360 no scope. Everybody's just doing 360 no scopes in the range.
Yeah, that would be so good. Yeah,
probably not that one.
But you get it like a 100-yard rifle shot, or a 25-yard weak hand, or that kind of thing.
Hold on. Do you know what 360 no scope is? Yes or no, Angelina?
Yes.
Cycle.
No.
Dead Horse.
Oh, yes.
Ghost.
Unfortunately.
Posh does.
Yes.
You know?
No idea.
And I'm going to put it out to the audience who's out there watching on the Gun Channel side, and there's some people on YouTube. If you know what the 360 no scope is. So, do you know who good guy with a gun is? That's how you would know what it is.
Well, somebody said Matt V 2099. That would be another example if you do that. But if you played a lot of video games, then you know what 360 no scope is.
Play
Oh,
some
is it
Pac-Man
from
back in
something
the day.
besides good guy? Is it from something besides good guy? I thought it was good.
Oh no, 360 no scope existed before anybody actually started doing it with a gun.
It existed before Good Guy.
360 no scope came from like I think it was the
Call of
Nazi
Duty
game.
Modern
Yeah, it
Warfare
was
2.
no, it was before that. It was Day of Defeat. It was Day of Defeat, the Nazis
Does it go
versus
that far
the Allies
back?
game. Oh yeah, it goes way
I didn't
back.
realize that.
Oh yeah,
okay.
360 no scope was like that goes way back. But it was basically you jump off of something or you're falling off of something and you spin 360
Just spin
and you
and
have
start
your
shooting.
quote unquote sniper rifle and you don't go down the barrel, you just fire and you kill somebody. It's called a 360 no scope.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just from good guy. I was
No. It was way before that.
Okay. So anyway, sorry I interrupted somebody we were talking about.
It might even have been Unreal Tournament in 1999, I think, now that I think about it, with the sniper rifle.
Nobody needs to know about Hero Spin. We're not going to get into that one.
Why would you spin 360? That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
It's
No,
gonna
Well,
be-
what I thought 360 no scope is there was this guy called Good Guy with a Gun, and he went out to the range and stuck a camera on a tripod pointing at him, right? So like you could see his whole body at the range, and he was shooting off to the right side of the screen, and then he was like drawing and turning around, like turning doing 180. For some reason, he was like never had done any kind of training or anything, so he was just doing these weird spins and draws kind of at the same time. It was almost like he was jumping up off the ground and spinning around drawing at the same time, and then shooting.
I always knew the 360 no scope was a gaming thing. That's kind of what I always known it to be. But I didn't know. I mean, it could be a
360 no
That's
scope.
what Google says.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't want to go. I kind of want it. I obviously want to. I'm mentioning it, but there used to be this game called HeroClix, and Marvel got attached to them. But before that, it was just like a kind of a Dungeons and Dragons type game. And you had these little figures that you bought, and they had a base that the base actually rotated, and that was the stat line. And as the character took more damage, that you'd have to rotate the base until they died. But as they rotated it, they gained like certain powers as they got weaker, or they got different functions. And like think of that like if it was again going back to my example of like in a house and you've got the invaders and the defenders and you have to like click the individual for wounds or whatever they're taking. That would be awesome. And it was all, you know, like dudes you could buy. Oh man, that'd be a lot of fun. Like more real, because the games were always like super magic and Marvel like mutants and stuff like that.
All right, well, we've explored a bunch of different things tonight. Hopefully give people some ideas, something to talk about at the range or at the shop or at the gun show or on your own type of live chat or just conversation out there in the world. Anybody else want to plug anything or chat about anything else before we head out?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, Thanksgiving.
I said just to piss you off.
Is it, I wonder if Yankee's going to have a chat on that day. Probably not.
Probably not.
I would like to say this is the time of year to have extra situational awareness around you.
Most definitely. Yep.
Oh yeah, especially in parking lots.
I'll be streaming on Friday.
I found a part for my Webley.
Oh yeah, we're at.
I found the hand finally. Apex
Really?
gun parts. And I found out what was wrong with that Bodeo, why it was actuating the trigger. There's a broken piece inside the gun. But that I can't find a part for. But I may go to my brother-in-law, the machinist, and see if I can get him.
I'm gonna say you probably could get that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's a piece that sticks into the gun, and so it's like an arm, and it just broke off. So I wonder if it's something we might be able to brace something onto it or something. But I mean, it doesn't affect the function of the gun other than the loading, where you squeeze a trigger and it doesn't operate. You squeeze a trigger and it doesn't operate the hammer, but it spins the cylinder around. Well, on mine, the hammer operates all the time, so you'd have to load it like a regular double action and spin the cylinder by hand. But other than that, not a big deal. And I also found out you can still buy ammo for that if I really want to spend some serious money. So I may actually get some ammo for that and take it to the range and shoot it.
That would be.
So that was my fun stuff for today. That's all that happened today.
I'm not gonna lie, Hodge. It's kind of creepy watching you brush your beard. Just saying.
Go in my Discord chat. You won't have to watch me do anything because it's all voice.
If you hear the sound of purring in the background, then you can really get creeped out. Because my cat does that. He purrs like a son of a gun when I brush him.
Well, I mute my mic a lot, but I don't want to tell you guys what I'm doing.
That's a different chat for a different time.
Beans will do
Go
it
to
to you.
Discord.
All right. So they're saying that Yankee is not doing a chat on Thursday, so that's good. I don't have to do that.
Looking forward to that discussion, aren't you?
General is saying, get to the range. You can collect all the gear to make it to the range before your friends. I didn't realize what he was saying there. So yeah, that does sound like a one that could be easy because you have like your ear pro and your eye pro, right? Extra ammo.
You found your range bag. You have 5 more slots of inventory.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but that's the kind of thing you could play with a kid or something, and it's ingraining good habits, safety and the stuff you're going to need to go to the range, and it can be in a couple of steps, right? 5 steps, 6 steps, almost like Chutes and Ladders easy, right? What if you use little 22s or 45s as your game pieces?
Now, Chutes and Ladders, that is the ultimate kind of game you would play on this gun quest thing, because the chutes when good things happen, bad things happen, and the ladders when good things happen, right?
Yep.
So that'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, huh? That's a good point. So like a bad thing happens and you get brought back, and interesting.
It's called, but instead of Chutes and Ladders, it's called Acquire Guns and ATF.
Wasn't Life like that? It was a longer version.
A little bit, but you draw cards that would F you up.
But I mean, it would shoot you back like Chutes and Ladders, just without.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chutes and Ladders is all positional, so there isn't really much fun to it. It's just wherever the dice dropped you off.
I tell you what would be a cool concept if you did a scavenger hunt. If you got some gun shops and all in your area included in this, you do a scavenger hunt that ends up at the range or something.
Oh,
that'd be kind of cool.
Wow, now you're talking or a geocache.
A geocaching or something ends up at the range or something. Yeah.
Somebody's playing Oregon Trail in the background right now. What the hell?
I'm surprised you didn't say fox hunt, Hosh. Jeez.
Well, everybody knows geocache. So I said fox hunt, then
you sit on different places and you pick up different ammo or something like this, or eye protection, ear protection. Get people to donate some stuff, and then but everyone meets at the gun range, and then you shoot. That'd be kind of fun.
When you're trying to get to the range for this game, you take an extra turn to read the bulletin board, and you find a sweet deal on a gun. That's bonus points for the end of the game when you tally up your points.
Or you go up there and the gate is locked. You must wait for a member to unlock it or something.
Find Gold Cup 1911.
Right.
500 bonus points.
Right.
So we got 27 people watching, so I appreciate the support of watching the show, and hopefully somebody will take some of the ideas and run with them. At least have a conversation out there. I do think there's probably some ways that we can do things that are not necessarily even internet, but related, that can get more people into 2A. It's one of our big needs, really. And just maybe even if there was just a game out there that was called some sort of a gun thing, and it had some kind of a cartoony gun on it on the shelves, it would get some news coverage, and people would have a little bit of controversy probably, but it would be out there, and kids would be less afraid and they'd grow up less afraid. That's what it's all about.
Spend one turn reading ad copy in range from 10 years ago. No, I take that back. 25 years ago. Think wad cutters are a good CCW carry. Negative 200 bonus points.
Yeah. What generation is this?
My range still has like old school ammunition posters on the wall, which is awesome. You go check those things out. They're all yellowed, showing you like crazy rounds, like, side cut rounds, like all lined up. It's really cool.
So we're trying to end it, but they're still chatting out there. So I hate to just cut it off. Woods just said Gun Channel's the board game, and that made me think, how can we use the Gun Channel's trading cards as some sort of
Yes.
so that there'd be some reason to acquire them, or is it like making a poster or something that people would want to try?
You'd have to have like some kind of errata of like a printout of the different channels and what powers, not powers, but like attributes they had, and then you build your team of
talking about with the existing ones that already are out there.
That's what I'm saying. You'd have like a page. You'd have like a page that said like, well, if you have the Gun Channels card, you have if you're in a van, you get 10 points to stealth. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that. I'm going down.
You just play the Guess Who game with the channel.
Okay. Or you could be real simple. That's fine too.
Oh, you mean where you're sticking them on your forehead and people are trying to figure out who you are.
Or like the board game, you'd have you'd pick one character, and then people would ask you questions about that character, like do they have red hair, or do they have a Glock 23 in their picture, or do they have glasses, and then it was process of elimination on what character you had, right?
Do they do a weekly show? Are they a guest?
Will the AR-15 bolt carrier fit in that ultrasonic cleaner you have?
I can't believe you're talking about that in the live chat.
If it does completely, will it fit too completely? Question mark.
You ruined the whole thing. Are you trying to voice text chat? I don't know what you're trying to do.
It's a hashtag chat killer.
1 bolt carrier. Ha 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 ha. 2 bolt carriers. Ha 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 ha.
All right. So is there going to be an after chat? Caleb's asking if there's going to be an after chat.
1 o'clock in the morning, I got to go to bed. But this has been an awesome show, by the way. It's been 2 hours.
I don't know what anyone said there, except for Ghost said 2 hours. So is there going to be?
It's been a great chat. It's been 2 hours, but I'm going to bed.
That's kind of contradictory. It's been so fantastic. I have to
leave. It's so fantastic. I want it to end.
No, I'm saying I'm not going to go after chat. I'm going to bed after this is over.
I'm going to bed, but I won't be able to sleep.
I believe what I said was accurate.
Okay, so it looks like
I might do an after chat.
Uh-oh.
If Danos come in, I'll do it.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
So there might be an after chat, or not. There's, or if not, there's Knives has a lobby going, and so there's being more conversation going. There was something else that was said out here.
Get to the after chat.
It's not a tumor.
It's not an after chat.
Oh, Clover was telling somebody was saying that they couldn't get to shot because they don't.
Pati Gal, who's from my Discord actually, she was talking about SHOT Show. I mean, she goes. I think she's in the industry, but she was talking about how to get people in, and Clover said that he had posted something on it.
Yeah, so I was looking back. Psycho said, 77 subs. I mean, I don't know. They don't want everybody in the whole world going there. They want people to be pro-gun, though. So really what they're looking for is that you're pro-gun. And unless they're full, then you can apply. There's no, you must be this tall to enter. It just, they want to make sure that you're creating content and that it's pro-gun.
You must be this pro-guns to enter.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as you're got something, then Clover, like you said, did a whole show on the various criteria and how to, accomplish that. And it's no secret or anything. It's just the whatever. They just don't want somebody in there. I forget who it was. Time Magazine. I don't know. Somebody went in there and just did a really shitty review of it and made it look, different than it was. And they just don't want, and it pissed a bunch of people off, right? I forget who that was that went in there. It was 2-3 years ago, and pissed a bunch of people off at shot, and they just don't want to deal with that, I'm sure. So they just want to make sure they're qualifying it with making sure you're an actual pro, positive reviewer, not somebody trying to do gotcha stuff.
Thank you.
All right, well, so now the chat is evolving into different subjects, so people can head over to Gun Channels Training Card Bingo. Maybe that's the name of it. People can head over to Gun Channels. It sounds like you'll have a couple of options of live stuff to deal with, or you can go and look at old stuff. So, like Hosh did his, trying to clear my throat. Hosh did his ham radio crash course on Friday. You can go to that right now because it's recorded. It renders into a video and is recorded on YouTube. And do you move your stuff over to Gunstreamer yet?
They contacted me about auto uploading, so I'm gonna go figure out how that all works. That's my next step.
How it's super complicated. Here's what you have to do. You have to reply to their email.
Yes, I got the email. They said I needed to reply to them. So okay,
And that's all you got to do, and you're good.
No, because then you got to wait around for like a while, and then it might be an hour or something, and then it happens. So, yeah, it's really complicated. Anyway, on Gun Channels, whatever you've got posted there from whenever you did your live show is available. So you can dig into Gun Channels and find all kinds of cool stuff that people have been doing, and it's a way to keep up with, like Ellis. He does his show on Tuesdays. So if you go earlier today, just go to his channel and check it out. It'll be there till next time he does a live show. Angelina, got anything coming out? Anything new? Saw the tablecloths. You got some kind of deal going where they get free stickers?
Tablecloths. Yeah. If you order custom patches for our Black Friday Cyber Monday thing, you get a matching order of stickers for free. So if you get 50 patches, you get 50 free stickers that match them. Or 100 or 200 or whatever. So there's like 10 spots on that. I think we got like 4 or 5 left.
So when you 100, 200, whatever, I could get 50 patches and get 200 free stickers. I like that idea.
No, I mean, it doesn't. The math, I'm not a math major, but I don't think it works like that. But maybe close. But it's a good deal.
Play one on TV. Not a math major, play one on TV.
I won't even pretend to. Math is not my... I was a law student, so I don't fucks with the maths.
Wait.
All right. So, and I've already I already sent in my email for the Daily Gun Show. So this one, at some point, will be every time it happens here. We do this thing live, only until Gunstreamer does their live stuff, and then we'll move on. But right now, this thing will be live. It'll render into a video and then automatically go over to Gunstreamer. So if you want to set that up, just go over to Gunstreamer and set up an account. You need an email. And then they've got a process there where you can set your channel up, pull the whole thing over, and everything you do gets automatically updated over there. It gives you a backup copy, which is nice. But more importantly, creates a larger two-way focused platform that we can all bring our audiences to. And as new people experience the internet and people figure out that there's more to do than just the established, bloated, dying platforms, they'll have something to check out over there. And with that, I think we'll quit talking and see everybody tomorrow, I guess. We're going to keep doing the show all through the quote-unquote holiday. And I don't know. I'm curious if people... I never thought about doing anything for Cyber Friday because of, the hell, Racist Friday. Because I do stuff on Cyber Monday because I'm a online shop, right? I figured I'd do something for Cyber Monday, but people were suggesting earlier, was it in Ghost Show, that maybe do something for Racist Friday also. So I don't know. I might also be driving a friend of mine somewhere, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be around or not, but give me some feedback, either on the description of this video or the comments to this video over on Gunstreamer, or you can email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. It was a long show. I feel like I've been talking a long time.
You know, back in the 1800s, there were guys that had these really gnarly mustaches and beards. Do you think they had a brush like that, Josh?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they totally did.
And grease and like mustache grease.
And they'd have silver on it, and it'd be way more ornate.
Yeah, you can email me at babybeardbrush.com if you want to talk about my brush life.
Hashtag brush life. There you go. Beard brush life.
Beard brush life.
Guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.